I think
that changed my buffer. Interesting.
I do. I do think my style is the best for her. It's a style where so Eileen, her best quality isn't just her ability to it isn't just her ability to crush. It's very powerful to be able to crush.
All right, good
But
game. Good
that's
game.
not what I think makes her super strong.
Okay. All right, I understand Silverbolt.
I mean, Eileen's best suited
Very
for
good
me.
game, Tricky. That was such a fun battle. That was a really, really fun battle.
Yes,
Really, really
it was fun.
like,
Her wall carry against lighter characters. It's not as great against heavy
if there was my
characters.
streamer talking to me about Soul Calibur, I'll just say
It's her mix-up potential.
you have to be real.
So because of her cancels, if you are good at hit checking, counter hit, those cancels become really, really good. And Binocular I played a lot.
Yeah, it was posted. 20 more seconds to go. The ads.
That's her cancels if you're able to hit check them.
It's just saying
That's one part. But the other part, I played that so poorly. That was so poorly played. Chanchai's like, what the fuck was she doing? Tricky's fucking up. That's what she's
Very
doing.
solid. I mean, it is risky going for a low finish on Eileen.
Did I win this one? I don't remember.
Taka's where he basically launches you with his two palms up straight up in the air.
I did. I won this one. I remember now.
He's in big disadvantage, right?
Guaranteed damage. Guaranteed damage.
Yeah.
So it's her mix-ups off of her cancels. That's where she's really powerful. If you can mix those up and you are able to adjust to make it random enough people can't read you and track all of that while tracking habits, then she's fucking god tier. And she feels unbeatable in that framework. Like when you're playing like that, if your cancels are on point, your interrupts are on point, and you're going to the right thing every time, you're canceling this bop, 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 bop. If you have every read proper, you will win. And it will feel overwhelming to your opponent.
Except in tournament, then I fight Taka. And Crazy Drunk, I'll fight is Taka just in like league.
Yeah, Yomi and Mix. That's what she's the best at in the game. Because of her, it's built in as a mechanic of her. Because of that. Like right there, that's a mechanic for her. She can do it anywhere she fucks she wants.
Playing too cautious.
And you have to respect it. Or react to it. But if you're reacting to it, then you can't do other shit. So if the Eileen player is able to track what things you don't really block well against, where you want to press a button, how you want to defend, how you want to attack, and it incorporates that along with her cancels and interrupts and reactive defense and counter hit checking into cancels, you'll find your character is dead in like, boom, like that. The problem is that you have to track a lot of shit. To be fair, you have to track more things with her than any other character in the game. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that. Which, I mean, it's probably why she's considered low tier. I actually think that's the real reason. I don't think it's because she's light. I mean, she is light as a problem. But I don't feel like that's the limiting factor for me when I'm playing with her. I mean, her being light is what makes it so important that you're correct every time. Right, you're pre-mental stacked. To play her optimally, your stack has to, like your mental stack as the player has to be fucking massive. And your mental buffer has to also be pretty fucking massive. Well, thank you for the raid, Bounty. Appreciate you, baby. Much love. Hope you had a good time. I'm basically talking about Eileen and how big brain you have to be to play her. You know how Eileen and Blades were the hardest characters? Gotta include Shun in there too. Well, no one's the hardest. It's just every different characters emphasize different skill sets. So Eileen emphasizes the mental stack. If you as an Eileen player are not able to like have a big stack, you can still play really well, but there's a cap on how much of her you'll be able to extract, right? Because she's fundamentally designed system mechanic wise around interrupts, cancels, and the options therein that exist on block, whiff, hit, and mixing those up and
tried really hard to manage my
moving around the different defensive options. All around that to shut things down, to stay safe, all of that. Problem is, if you're wrong, you get killed. You die.
Pretty crazy with all these 3-1s now.
That's the problem. So if you're just right, just be right, and you just steamroll people, and it feels oppressive. Now, I can track a lot of shit at once, and still react, and still make decisions, right? Like,
With tricky, so everywhere is represented.
Yeah,
I do
Lightwing Dragon, light, so.
have that skill set, so I lean into it. I play characters in every fighting game that emphasizes that particular kind of skill set, because I know I have it, right?
And
So,
I kind of feel bad because we actually have 2 out-of-towners who came into town.
I think if you're trying to like get better at anything, or any fighting game specifically, I want to watch this set with Banuk again. That was a really nice set. That one right there.
Alright, that's done there. Let's see, where is the Discord? FPS and group chat, that's what I got to.
You got to figure out like what you're good at, and I don't just mean like what you're good at doing like professionally or like academically. I mean, if you figure that out too, it's helpful. But like what did Eileen teach you skills from playing her? Did you already have that skill? The mental stack skill, I already had that. That's just
Tricky beat Banuk in the last round.
an inherent quality I have. It's just kind of there.
And Connor
I just, I just kind of came out and I have it.
Splendidly, giving up Banuk a loss and you a loss, right? Yeah. You.
Yep.
So it's like a gift, basically. It's one of those kind of things.
Yeah, I'm still learning how to fight.
If you can figure out what those are for yourself, like what
it's allowed to give me
little, if you do, everyone doesn't have these, and if you don't, it's fine. You can still develop without them. But figure out for you, relative to your other skills, what are you really good at? Like, what's the thing you're really, really good at? And then just magnify that. And the things you're not good at, because there are things that I'm not good at too. I use my mental stack to compensate for. So if I'm bad at reacting, I use mental stack to compensate for that. If you can figure out how to change your playing around what you're good at, how to compensate for what you're not so good at, so that they don't become much of a liability. I think that's how you like reach the tippy top. So you're playing your life as Eileen? I do, yeah. Or more so, I play Eileen like I play my life.
Yeah, errors posted. 20 more seconds to go.
Yeah. The way I play Eileen is reflective of who I am as a person, like personality wise. That's part of why I get a little annoyed when people are like, oh, I hate why you play. I'm like, well, fuck you. Then you're not gonna like me. If this playstyle annoys you, then we're not gonna be close. Like, because it is quite emblematic of how I am and how I move through the world.
I mean, it is risky going for a low finish on.
Vanessa's a read-based character, but instead of a mix-up, is a ton of decent options for the Yeah, you're right, Mixlot. I think you're correct about that.
Basically launches you with his two palms up straight up in the air. Yeah, that's
And when I say a character is a read-based character, what I mean is that they have to make reads. So like every character can make reads, right? That's part of the system. Eileen has to make reads if you want to extract the full potential of her. Akira doesn't need to make reads. He's very good if you can, but you don't need to like extract everything out of him. You can kind of play pretty well, make a couple of reads, but like just play solid, and you'll like just play the numbers, and you'll percentage wise win eventually. Eileen doesn't work that way.
Very much like
You can't play her that way at all. You'll lose.
I'm really glad that
You'll lose consistently if you play her like by the book, or you play her by the numbers of like, well, I'm like 60% sure you're gonna a buyer here, so I'm gonna 9K you. So you get a counter launch, and if I'm wrong, it's okay because I won't die, right? Like other characters get to play that kind of a game. Eileen doesn't, because she takes too much damage. This is where her taking damage becomes a problem and liability. So you have to approach her differently, and so essentially you're playing her loose. Well, I'm playing her loose if you don't think about her cancels and her interrupts. That's where her tightness comes into play. There's also some looseness there, I guess, too, because the cancels and interrupts aren't all like real. They all depend on me reading. That's where the reads happen. Are you going to block? Are you going to react and hit me out of a button? Are you going to decide to think I'm not going to do a cancel here, and now you're going to evade or take your turn, right? That's where the reads are. And she can enforce that mix on hit, on block. As long as it's a cancelable move, she can enforce that mix.
What did you notice?
That's unique to her, and no other character has access to that mix, because it's basically a system mechanic that only she has access to. Like that's how all-encompassing her interrupt and cancel game is for her. She's not playing VF like the rest of the cast. She gets her own sets of shit that's super powerful, and it's kind of fucked up, but it's how she works. Once you are able to do that and understand, oh, she's not playing VF like everybody else. She gets her own mechanic that you have to. She is fucked up. Yeah, no, she is fucked up. But she pays for that, right? She right, yes, exactly. The mental stacking and tracking goes both ways. Now, think of it this way as well. Most opponents don't understand Eileen really well. Even the best players don't really know what she can do. Only other Eileen players know what she can really do, because we have to know.
Very exciting match.
So it's a mental stack on really the Eileen player, because the opponent doesn't really know what you're going to do, and they can't track because they don't know what you're going to do, and they don't know what you can do. So that's the advantage. They can't track you. If you're canceling adequately and properly, your opponent will not. I'm saying this over and over again because I want to really emphasize this point. They can't track you. If it's a big if you play your cancels and interrupts like you should, based off of how your opponent's responding in your cancelable and interruptible points in your strength. So it's not really a stack on their end. They're not getting stacked. The Eileen player is getting stacked, because I have to track that from you, and then I have to know I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. It's a one-way mental stack loading. That's why I say Eileen's a good character for me, because like I can manage that stack, and the more I'm able to manage it, the stronger of a player I am. And this is where the Yomi comes in. So because of how powerful this specific system mechanic, I'm going to call it system mechanic because really it's a character mechanic that she has, because of how strong that is, it's kind of broken.
So,
Like it's so strong, it's kind of broke. But what balances it out is that's really hard to use. That's where the balance comes in. But if you can use it, this is where Yomi comes in. If you can use your Yomi to read your opponent to see, oh, okay, I got it. I know you're going to do this here. I know it. This is where the Yomi, because this is how you respond in the situation. I know your habit here, and I know when you're going to switch. I know how you're going to switch, and I know when to do it. And I know what moves to kind of do to kind of hedge my bets around that to fuck with you. It's a one-sided mix-up.
That's actually
and it's completely contingent on you as the Eileen player being able to execute, track, and manage that. While still playing regular VF. You still got to play the regular game. So it's not like you don't have to still play regular VF. This is on top of the VF system that every other character has to play. And keep in mind, you also don't get to fully engage with some of the components of the main system, like, Nataku in the same way, because you'll die eventually. You'll die more than you win if you play that game like everybody else. So you really have to lean into the Yomi, and you have to lean in to the cancel and interrupts, I think, to really play her at the tippy top level while doing all the other things, while doing everything else properly. You know, think that's that maybe if the player's unaware? Yeah. That's why, because they're unaware. The opponent's unaware. That's why it's one-sided.
Some players are very specific, is pushing you toward the wing or have moves that they are specifically going to target to use when you're out. Yeah. But just being awareness of stage is important. I'm not someone who has
no one knows all the cancel points Eileen can do. They don't know.
But yeah, if you're going to be someone who plays maybe sometimes more passive,
and they don't know what the unique frames are for each cancel point too, because her frames change on each cancel.
I will also
like her frames
again, part of
going into a cancel change based on the move she did.
It is important to
based on whether it was whiff, block, or hit.
Because
the frames
too greedy to ring out when you're like
of
if you hate ring
the
out,
cancel
so like you
and interrupt change based on all of those things.
A lot of time that causes you to make really simple errors that cause you.
Motherfuckers don't know that shit. Only Eileen players know that. Only we know that. That's why it's one-sided. They don't know. They are unaware.
So ring out,
no one knows. She can't cancel on whiff, but she can interrupt on whiff.
Yeah, strategizing a ring out carefully without putting yourself at risk of.
So no one knows that shit.
Really good thing to build.
Except for Eileen's, which aren't very many.
Then Kage can do the.
So like, that's why I'm saying it's a one-sided mix. They might get some of the stack your opponent when they learn some of the things you can do, but only the Eileen player knows all of them. And it's your responsibility as the Eileen to pick the right one from the laundry list of options you have available to you that really only you know. Does that make more sense? Like most players only know a couple of the options. Yeah. Most players only see a couple of the options, but the Eileen player knows all of them. Right? Every single one. And its utility, when to use it, how to use it. All of that, you have, as Eileen player, track. Your opponent doesn't have to track all that. They just have to pick, oh, am I going to attack? Am I going to evade gas cancel? Am I gonna just try and react? Am I gonna block? Am I gonna just duck and like try to just react to what you do? Or duck and then see you didn't do anything and then go no button? Like that's what your defender has to track of. Me, I'm tracking, okay, which of those options defensively is my opponent gonna use? And which of my options, I have to know which of my options in this specific situation on hit or guard, often those are the two that I have to really track the most. Which of these two, from these two situations that might just happen, I have to split second change and decide I'm going to do this thing now. And it has to be right. So like there are a lot of choices that you have to make as Eileen player along the way to get to the right cancel. And you can still be wrong. But when you pull that shit off, oh my God, it feels so good. Like it feels so good. It's why I play. It's a big reason why I keep playing her, because it just feels so good when you're in their head and you're canceling in their face and you're giggling in front of them, and she's just such a great character. And she fits my style. She fits my strengths perfectly.